live stream 12 today. Today I'm going to talk about my favorite topic called action research. So action research is very interesting. If you don't follow the process and steps of what I'm going to talk about and show you, and that is not called action research. So basically action research has to follow the 4 steps, which is I'm going to talk about and focus on today is the planning and also the acting, and then you have the action and reflecting. So basically we have to follow the 4 steps of a process, and it's called action research. So for those who don't know what you mean by action research is actually it is a way to provide the working with the links with the theory and the methods and practice into the whole ideas of research and discussion among the colleagues or discussion among workers or any acquaintance. And actually it is a basic ideas that focus on planning, which is planning of how to define the problem, and then you have action, and then you have reflection. Okay, now I'm going to talk about the focus on the most important part of action research, which is the 3 basic idea, which is the I have talked about before, which is the planning, and you can go second step is acting, and then you have the reflecting, and then that's it. Okay, the 3 main steps, which is planning, action, and reflecting. Okay, now and also I'm going to talk about the example. I give you some examples as well of the action research. So action research basically is talk about planning. In the planning process, we have 3 steps, and in the action process we have 1 step only, and then when you come to reflection phase, then you have 2 steps. So the first one, those who still I have to emphasize that who don't know what is action research. For many of you who are new here, of course, if you don't know what is action research, you can go back to my previous video on the defining about the action research project. And also those who are not here just watching only, remember to subscribe, and also to put a like and to share. Put like if you like it, of course, and share it with your friends. Okay, all right, let's get into it. So action research provides a way of working with the links between the theory of learning and practice into the whole idea in action. So action research processes we had just focused before is basically just 4 steps. Okay, as I say, repeating again: planning, acting, observing, and reflecting. So in the process 1, I'm going to show you, hopefully you can see it. Yeah, can you see? Yeah, or maybe a bit like upside down. Okay, well, I'll just show you. The process 1 is planning, process 2 is the acting, and then you come to process 3, which is observing, and then finally you come to process 4, reflecting. Okay, it seems a bit hard to read from the screen here because it's upside down. So I'm going just to read that the process. So in process 1, planning, what do you do? In the process 1, planning, you in the group, of course, action research is always refer to group, not refer to self-study or individual or what by yourself. Okay, it is in a group. So action research is referred to a group. So in the planning process, the people inside with the participants will decide how to deal with a problem. So in the problem 2, and the participant will start to focus on acting. So acting, which is implementing your plan. Okay, implementing your plan. What you have done in process 1. So process 3, observing. So observing in this process, you pay attention and recording what is happening in a group. Okay, again, and process 4, which is a final step, phases, which is reflecting. In here, reflecting, you have to analyze the outcomes and revising the plans for another cycle of acting. So if your project or if the result is successful, you can stop. If the result is not successful, whatever you want to research is not come out as what you expected, you can go through the cycle again. Just like here, it is like a cycle, it's a cycle. Like first one, step one, again you can see step one is the problem. In problem you focus on the brainstorming, and you focus on dialogue, you focus on literature review and doability. So in step two is the project. So in project you focus on intervention, approvals and resources. Okay, and then for the step three, this is basically, I'm still talking about planning phase. Planning phase is, you got 3 steps, okay? Step 3 of the planning phase, you have the baseline, the timeline, the criteria, and you measures the methods, consent. Basically, step 3 of the planning phase is measures. And then you have the action phase. Action phase is just 1 step, which is step 4. You implement and observing. So what do you do in implement? You have to focus on consistency, focus on data collection, focus on dialogue over data. All right. Now come to the final phase, which is the reflection phase, which has 2 steps. Step 5 and step 6. So step 5 of the reflection phase, you have evaluation, where you focus on the compare the criteria and the data, and you dialogue over the data. And then step 6, you focus on the transition, which is overall promise and decision on a new cycle of action research if the outcome doesn't come out with what you desire. So if you get the outcomes or get the result, you can stop. You don't have to repeat the cycle again. Okay, it's basically the idea. So of course, I talk about this is it's very easy for you. Is, as you all know, that talk is very easy, but action may be a bit hard. Okay, now I'm focused on the research of those past researchers who has already done their research, and especially this one is about. I'll give you an example. This one was done by Rihanna in 1997. She focused on action research and the retaining literature volunteers in a correction center. Okay, it's in a correction center. The research by Liana, 1997. So in the book, creating practical knowledge through action research, and first posing problems, solving problems, and improving daily practice. Okay, this is the first step, planning step. So first of all, they need to find out the problem. So problems such as Ms. worked as a recruiter for volunteer tutors. Sorry, I have to put on my glasses. Tutors to work with low-level readers. So each year, Min is the person who's working with the volunteer. Min needs to train 30 to 40 volunteers from the community to tutor basic reading or English as a second language. So Min's action research project focused on a problem solving, problem involving such as literacy program at the prison. In the prison, this literacy effort was chronically understaffed. Right? They have not enough people to teach literacy in the prison. So because it takes a special person to want to do it, to work in this environment. So the question that they pose is, so how was Min used this problem to start his action research project? So she want to start the action research project on this issue about the tutor of literacy in the prison. So first, the hints. First, she needs to understand the problem. Okay, she needs to understand problem. This is basically the first step of I have just talked about the planning step. First step, you need to define the problem. So the second, he needs to define the project. Okay, what he is going to do, and I'm going to read to you about the project. The project she's going to do is, like, for example, like a potential intervention to address the tutor retention problem came through the financial aid office at the college. They wanted to know if they would be willing to employ a college student part-time during the school year at a minimal cost to the council. So they consider the potential position. So it began to see how such a person could have a positive impact on the college tutor retention problem. And specifically the intervention impact on the college tutor retention problem, especially for the action research project, was to try using a college student as a coordinator of tutoring to increase retention of college tutors. So they knew it would decrease the time they spent playing telephone tag, but it wasn't sure how students would react to another student being in charge. So using the action research, she is able to find the answer to this question. So basically in this in the planning phase, you need to define the problem, and then the third step of the planning stage, you need to determine the measures, and the fourth one of the planning stage, you need to implement an action and observing the result. Okay, and then finally he need to evaluate the results and reflect on the project. Okay, basically this is the, sorry, this is actually all talk about all the three steps of the action process, all included. Sorry, it's talk about action, planning, action, and reflecting. Okay, so for more detail of yeah, as I said, if you want to more detail about action research project, you can watch my videos, my previous videos on the title called How to Develop an Action Research Project, and also you can watch other videos. I'm sure I have, and I will put a link in the description section below after this live. All right, now next one is about the oh yes, talk about, I'm still focusing on the problem, the examples of the action research project. Okay, first of all, I have already read to you about how this person means in the correction center, the prison, how she's going to employ the teachers or tutors to teach in the prison literacy program, and I have already defined the how she defined the problem. And next one, I'm going to read to you how is she going to determine the measures. Okay, I'm going to read to you. Okay, she is going to, she said, I hope this intervention will create a number of benefits. Certainly increase the retention of college tutor was a desired outcome, which in turn could help to maintain a good relationship with the college. I also hope for less time spent by staff on scheduling, as well as continuity of instruction for the prison inmates. Perhaps most of all, I hope to see less dependence on community tutors to fill in for unavailable college tutors. I decided that retention of 60% of college tutors would indicate success for this plan. The previous year, only 30% of the college tutors had stayed until the end of the school year. I decided to run the prison tutoring program from September through May. Informal tutoring could continue through the summer if desired. All tutors met with students on Monday nights from 7 to 8. This is how she determined the measures. Okay, the next step, of course, is to implement the action and observing the result. So, so how she do it? So how to implement the action and determine the results? Okay, for example, she said, as the project progressed, I discovered that both the college tutors and the community tutors indicate an increased satisfaction with the program. So she's observing the result. Okay, the student coordinator proved very successful in scheduling tutoring sections to everyone's satisfaction. The only difficult period was our Christmas break. Inmates overwhelmingly stated that time spent on tutoring was worthwhile, so they requested the additional time be allocated for tutoring. Retention of tutors was not as high as I had hoped. So attendance records indicate a 50% retention over the school year. The major reason given for discontinuing tutoring was still scheduling conflicts at the college. So basically, they had got a very good result. Okay, they observed the result. They so the inmate in the prison, they are requesting for more of this, the section of tutoring, the literacy tutoring. So that means they are halfway through the action research of the project, implementing the project, and which is halfway through and is quite successful. So the result will be quite good now. Okay, so the final stage is to evaluate the results and to reflect on the project. So reflection phase now. So how did she go about it? So she said, the student coordinator was a good solution for me because coordination of tutoring took less of my time than prior to the project. So the growing problem with community tutors feeling taken advantage of when college tutors didn't show up for scheduled tutoring sections was successfully resolved. Okay, so the college students who chose to tutor did not feel they were harassed into volunteering their time. The college felt their students were contributing positively to the surrounding community. By submitting this plan to the Regional Staff Development Office, I was able to obtain an action research grant of $300 that paid the student coordinators salary. Most important, the prison inmates benefit by having enthusiastic tutors visit them weekly to help them achieve their educational goals. So the whole project has been very successful because the result is good. They even grant of financial aids, about $300, to help with the project. So this is a very successful project. So as I said, action research project is a very meaningful and very useful into what you want to achieve in your aim. For example, the society, the program, and the organization, and new ideas and all that. It's a good to gather a group of people and to implement the action research. But as I said, to implement action research is not easy. You have to go through the 3 steps, which is the planning, the action, and the reflection. Okay, those are the steps that I have talked about. So if you are interested, you can listen it again and see how you are going through with your new project or new ideas on the action research using the idea of action research. That's all for my live stream today. Until next time, I hope you are well and all the best. Until next time, and goodbye.